Hey everyone! So today I am trying to see how much yarn I use in 6 months. I am currently filming this intro on January 10th, 2025. You may or may not know, one of my 2025 goals was to put myself on a yarn ban and not buy any yarn from January 1st until July 1st. So 6 months. I just got finished putting all of my yarn away from moving to my new house. And as you can see, I have a lot of yarn. This isn't even all of it. I have an entire other storage shelving unit to the left of me right now. Yeah, I have a lot of yarn. In fact, I went ahead and counted up just how many cakes and like balls of yarn that I have. They aren't all necessarily full skeins of yarn because a lot of these are like partially used and stuff, but I'm just gonna count them as like one unit of yarn. I went ahead and counted up all of my yarn, all of it. I don't think I left any yarn out, including yarn that I'm currently working with. I want you to guess how much yarn I have, how many units of yarn that I have. Put your guess in the comments below. I'll give you a second. I have 275 units of yarn. That's too much yarn. That's too much yarn. I need to rein it in a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna just keep track of how much yarn I end up using from now until July 1st. And I think it'll be really interesting. So if that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead and grab yourself a project and follow along. As of today, January 10th, I have just finished these 2 pillows. I made these for my sister and I need to ship them out. But with these pillows, I ended up using 1 skein of Bernat blanket. So this puts us at 1 used so far. Currently, I am working on the sunny side up blouse for a pattern test for Irichi on Instagram. So far, I have used 2 skeins of the Hobie soft bamboo in fine. So I've used 2 skeins of this. This is my 3rd. I imagine I'm going to use more. So I will just keep track of how many skeins of yarn that this blouse takes me. So far, as of January 10th, we are at 3 skeins of yarn. All right, it is January 19th, and I have 3 more skeins of the soft bamboo fine from Hobie done and done. So that's my update with that. Oh, also, it was recently announced that Joann filed for bankruptcy again. They are having mega sales right now, and I am so tempted to stock up on Big Twist because I love their acrylic yarn. So far, I've been strong, but I'll definitely let you know if that changes. Just know that that is something I am thinking about. I am 19 days into this new year and I'm already thinking about breaking my yarn ban. So, yep. Hello, it is January 26th and I have gone through 2 more skeins of the soft bamboo fine Hobie yarn, so that's good. I hope you're proud of me. I have not bought any yarn from Joann. However, my friend did give me a bunch of yarn. She was destashing her yarn and asked me if I wanted any and I just couldn't say no. So I'm gonna go ahead and count how many skeins are here and I'll let you know because we're gonna have to add that to our total. Okay, I know I own a lot of yarn, but like honestly, I get given a lot of yarn. And I guess I could say no, but like why would I? Anyways, let me count how many skeins are here. We'll add that to the total and I guess we'll just keep going. All right, I just counted up all the yarn and that is 50 units of yarn. So we're gonna go ahead and add 50 to our total. Hello, future editing Killian. I might be popping in a couple times from the future. Ooh. Because filming for 6 months, you may lose some footage. Who would have known? So I'm gonna be popping in just a couple times to fill in some gaps. Honestly, I did pretty good. I didn't lose that much footage, but I did lose the final clip in January where I mentioned that I used 3 more skeins of the Hobie fine bamboo for my sunny side up blouse, and I used 1 skein of the Lion brand respun yarn in the color Alpine to do my raglan. Honestly, I'm not sure if that was in January or February, but I'll just put it in now. For the record, that's an additional 4 skeins in January, which means our total skeins used for January was 12 skeins used, and then as you saw, we did acquire 50 skeins, so that gives us a net positive of 38 skeins for January. Hello, it is currently February 16th and I have used up, I'm gonna say 3. So I made this scrap yarn bag. I have a whole video about it. It was super fun. I love it. I ended up using these two colors up. This is what I have left of them, so I will say that is done. And then, excuse me, I still have to weave in the ends of these, but I made these leg warmer things, pattern testing for my friend Grace, and I have this much left of the Karen cotton cake. So again, not really much I can do with that. I'm gonna consider that scraps. And yeah, so we have 3 more colors that have been used. I will go ahead and mark that down. I know we're like already halfway through February and I only have 3 colors to show, but I have some more scrap yarn projects on the way, so hopefully we can kind of amp things up a little bit there. But that's my update with that. Hello, it is February 20th and I am making this bag right now, and I used up this ball of yellow, or I'm about to finish it off and then pull another ball of yellow, but this is just me. For the record, this will be done. Okay, thanks. Hello, it is March 1st. I just finished assembling this bag. I have a whole video on it if you care to see it, but while making this bag, we finished up 8 balls of yarn. So we used up the orange, the sage, 2 balls of the yellow, that's 4, this variegated yarn, the cream, this bright blue, and I think that's it. Yeah, because we still have this purple, the peach, the maroon, and the dark blue. Little bits of them, like not much, like scrimplings. Also, I'm going to count these 8 balls for the month of February because I did most of this bag in the month of February. Like I said, today is March 1st and all I really did was assemble it today, so didn't really use up yarn for March yet. So -8 for this project, which is great, but I do have a confession. You might be disappointed in me. I apologize if you are, but I do have a yarn haul. I did not purchase this yarn. This yarn was gifted to me by my friend Michaela at Michaela's Crafts, and she gave me all of her Lily Sugar and Cream. So there's a whole box of it. I haven't counted it up yet. I did go through it, so let me just count it up really quick. All right, so I just counted it, and she did give me 25 balls of yarn, so which isn't great, but if you recall, my goal was to not buy yarn, I think. That's what I'm telling myself anyways. I said that I wouldn't say no to free yarn. I know I established that. I'm sorry if you are disappointed in me and that that's really frustrating for you, that I said that my goal was to use more yarn than I get, but at the end of the day, the yarn's already been bought and it's being passed down to me, so I feel like you can't be that mad at that. I don't know. I'm not mad at it, but we are trucking through our yarn. That being said, I am 2 scrap yarn projects down for this year, which is great. I hope to continue that trend. I have ideas for a lot of the yarn that I have right now, so we'll just keep trucking along at it. And yeah, but that is my February update. All right, here is my February recap. We used a total of 12 skeins of yarn in February, but we did gain 25. So we have a trend of these net positives, okay? We do have a net positive of 13 for February, so you win some, you lose some. Hello, it's March 23rd, and yesterday I made a bunch of Mobius strip fidget toys. Here's some. And I used a bunch of scrap yarn. So I wrote it all down as I was using it up, which is good because I haven't updated in a while. Haven't gone through a lot of yarn in a while, which is weird. I feel like I've been doing a lot of scrap yarn projects, but whatever. All right, so on the Mobius strips, I used 1 ball of bright yellow, 1 ball of lavender, 1 ball of blue Karen Simply Soft, finally finished that up, 1 ball of a maroon heathered Lion Brand yarn, 1 light blue acrylic, 1 green acrylic, 1 medium green wool ease, 1 red acrylic, 1 yellow wool ease, 1 orange wool ease, 1 medium blue acrylic, 1 white variegated acrylic, 1 medium blue wool ease, and 1 dark green wool ease. So that's a total of 14 balls of yarn. That's amazing. Yeah, if you ever want to use up little balls of yarn, make some Mobius strips because it's a good scrap yarn project. Also, today I'm working on the Coliseum Crop by Ed's Fart. Finally used up 1 ball of the like pumpkin colored Pound of Love from Lion Brand. I split this up into 3 cakes and they were each counted in my total. Finally finished 1 of them, so here is the second one that I'm using now as well. So 15 balls of yarn so far for the month of March, and I guess we'll see if I get through any more for the month of March. Hello, it is March 30th. I have used up this gray cotton acrylic blend yarn on my Coliseum crop, as well as this variegated fall color. I think it's the Red Heart stripes in the color Fall on the Coliseum crop. And I also used up a skein of this lighter purple. As you can tell, I had to switch to a different purple on the snail that I used for this tutorial. So that is 3 skeins. That's my update. It's probably all the yarn I'll use in the end of March, so I guess we can do a March tally really quick. So we used up 14 units of yarn for the Mobius strips, which was great, and then 4 more since then. So that is a total of 18 units of yarn in the month of March, which is, I think, our best one yet. To be fair, we had positive nets for January and February, so that wasn't great. And I think overall we are still positive. Basically, March canceled out February. I guess it's progress either way. I don't know. It's progress for my wallet, which is great. Hi there, it is April 26th. I think this might be my first update in April, and if not, then it was like right at the beginning of April. But I made this bolero for a murder mystery party with my coworkers. That's tonight. And I used 2 balls of acrylic yarn on this. Black acrylic. And I started a 3rd one, but we didn't really make too much of a dent in that. But that's 2 balls of yarn. And then I do have an acquisition. This is from the Easter Bunny, aka my mother-in-law surprised me with this beautiful merino wool. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. So very special. I love it. So +1 -2. That is a -1. That is a -1. Can't be too mad. I think I'm about to finish off some other skeins, but I will update you when I do that. Okay, I did not finish up any other skeins for April. So April recap, here we go. As you just saw, I used the 2 black skeins of acrylic yarn, and I gained 1 sock yarn. So we have a net negative. Wow. We love a net negative. Net negative of 1. Hey, I'll take it, okay? Hi, what's up? It is May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. I made a wavy sweater, and I don't have it on me right now, but here's Maple's. I used up 1 skein of white acrylic yarn, and that's it. And I was expecting to use up way more than that. And also, please don't hate me, but I did break my yarn buying ban. You will have known this by now if you watch my vlogs. Joanne was having a 50% off yarn sale, and I couldn't resist, but I forgot to film this, and I already started using it, so here are 3 of the skeins I'm using. It's cotton, and then I also got 9 skeins of Lion Brand DK, so that's 12. 15 skeins of K&C cotton, so that's 27. 6 skeins of Darper James cotton, that's 34. 33, I can do math. And 4 more skeins of like Big Twist cotton and Big Twist acrylic, so that is 37. I'm not good at this, y'all. I'm not good at this. I'm so sorry. I feel like this video is gonna be so disappointing. I'm just a girl out here doing my best, and I can't say no to 50% off yarn. Especially in my defense, this whole thing was so that I can replace my acrylic yarn with cotton, and almost all of the yarn that I got was cotton. So I do feel a little bit better about that. Natural fibers are my like goal, so. What can you do? -1 plus 37. I'm so sorry. Please don't be mad at me. Hi there. It is May 26th. I feel like it's been a hot minute since I checked in with y'all. I've been crocheting, I've been making stuff, but I haven't been getting through too much yarn. But I do have an update, which is I did a roll for scrap granny square shelf mat thing, and I used up our lime green yarn, this color. Here's a tail that I have left. I use up that color, and I'm currently working on my crochet tie-dye video, and so far I have used up 5 skeins of this Lion Brand 24/7 cotton DK, and this is going to be my 6th one, but we'll just say 5 for now, and then I'll be back in probably when I use up more of that. So that is 6 units of yarn so far, and May's almost over, but hopefully we'll get a little bit more in before the very end of May. Oh, also, I almost forgot to mention, I also did use up 1 of the Big Twist Vortex in the color Super Bloom to make this tank top. This is the knit 6-in-1 top by Oops and Loops. I still have to finish it. I need to do that, but that's besides the point. I did use up 1 cake of that. That's 7 so far for May. It is May 31st, so this is our last day of May, and I don't think I'm going to be using up any more yarn today, although if I do check in at the end of the day, you'll know. Just wanted to say I did use up another skein of the DK cotton on that skirt, so nice. And then I also used up a skein of the Big Twist cotton, this rainbow colorway, for this Pride Month human tapestry that I am still working on, but I already finished the rainbow part. So yeah, that is 2 more skeins for May. So for the month of May, we used up 10 skeins of yarn. That's pretty good. However, we did acquire 37 skeins of yarn, so we do have a positive 27 skeins. You know, so far most of our months have been a positive. This is kind of a fail. March was kind of our savior, but we still have 1 more month to go, and I do not plan on acquiring any more yarn. However, Michaela did mention she's got more Lily Sugar and Cream, and you know I can't say no to yarn. That's why we're in this situation. But I might scrap this whole video. This is kind of embarrassing. Anyways, hi there. It's still May 31st, and we use another skein of the DK Line Brand cotton on the skirt. I kind of wasn't expecting that, but we can update our total now. I should have probably just waited, but yep, that's me. Now we only have a net positive of 26 skeins. Not too bad. I'm trying to convince myself. Nice. Hey everyone, it's June 11th, and I just finished up this bag, and I used a ball of the Lion Brand 24/7 cotton, which I hand dyed myself, and then I also finished up a skein of the Lily Sugar and Cream in this navy color. I'm not sure the colorway name, but that is 2 more units of yarn down, so nice. Hello, it is June 22nd, and my update is I use a blue ball for this little blue ox that I made, so I will take that. That's definitely a win. I had multiple balls of this blue yarn, and I used one of them, so that's pretty good. June's definitely been a slow month, so I'm happy to take whatever I can get. Hello, it is June 25th, and I just used up a skein of K&C cotton in this gray color, making a pair of shorts, possibly. I think. So let's see if we can use up another one before the end of this month. I have 5 days. We'll see. We will see. I'm pretty close to using up a skein of this blue yarn too, but I don't know if I will. Stay tuned. Hello, it is July 1st, and I, in fact, should have filmed this yesterday, but alas, I did not. So, however, I was able to finish up 1 more skein of the K&C cotton, making those shorts. I don't have them with me right now, so you're gonna have to take my word for that. So yeah, over the weekend I was able to sneak in 1 more. Alright, so our totals for June, we didn't gain any yarn. Yay! I love that. We haven't had a good track record with that so far, so that's pretty good. Our total for June is -9 skeins of yarn. Love that. Alright everyone, and just like that, 6 months came and went. Can you even believe it? Like, honestly, time is moving so fast. That's a whole other thing, but yeah, we are 6 months into 2025, and we have used some yarn. We've gained some yarn too, but we don't need to talk about that. Just kidding, we'll talk about that. Honestly, this challenge has really opened my eyes because I'm sure y'all have noticed this shelf back here really hasn't changed too much. It kind of looks the same to me, but we have used up some of our stash, and we have the data to prove it. We have the footage to prove it, okay? But yeah, this challenge really has been such an incredible exercise to just try and use the yarn I have, and I would say that I did a pretty good job. I know that we did acquire quite a lot of yarn. I did end up breaking my yarn buying ban, but how was I supposed to know that Joann was gonna go out of business this year? Like, in retrospect, maybe not the best time to go on a yarn buying ban when your favorite yarn store is going out of business and having mega sales, but hindsight is 2020, so I really don't regret buying the yarn that I did from Joann, so I think it's still a win. I also learned that people like to give me their yarn, and I like to take it. I mean, that just is what it is. It's yarn that's already been bought. It's not going to be getting used, so I may as well take it because I will use it, probably. I guess that's still kind of to be determined, but I also learned that I really do not need to be buying yarn every week or every other week or even every month. Like, I have plenty to go through, okay? That being said, I will be checking out my local yarn store. I've been here for 6 months and I have not stepped foot into my local yarn store yet, and I really want to check it out, so. However, I am going to continue this energy moving forward, this motivation of really just trying to use up the yarn I have. I'm going to continue my stash busting series. I will be hopping back on the roll for scrap train. By the way, thank you so much for bearing with me during these busy summer months where I don't have as much time to do all of the major project videos that I was kind of pumping out the beginning of this year. Roll for Scrap is coming back. Summer's busy. Y'all get it, right? I have stuff going on, you know? All right, without further ado, let's get into the grand totals. I'm first just gonna focus on our yarn used because that is the primary goal of this video, is to see how much yarn we use, with the understanding that we did gain yarn, but that's okay. In January, we used 12 skeins of yarn. In February, we used 12 skeins of yarn. In March, we used 18 skeins of yarn. In April, we used 2 skeins of yarn. Kind of a slow month. In May, we used 11 skeins of yarn. And in June, we used 9 skeins of yarn, which brings our grand total skeins used to 64. Honestly, maybe I expected more. I don't really know. I'm not sure I really had any expectations going into this. I mean, January was so long ago, I don't remember really much of anything. But yeah, honestly, 64 skeins I think is pretty good. I'm just an average Joe Schmo, you know? I don't have a crochet business. I'd just be doing this for fun. So 64, not too bad. Not too bad. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you thought I was gonna use way more than that, because fair. I think a lot of the times with these how much yarn can I use in X amount of time videos, it's usually coming from someone who has a crochet business, spends a lot of their time crocheting, really pumps out projects. I just cannot be them, you know? I cannot be that person. Work a full-time job. I try to have a life outside of crochet. I mean, do I? I don't know. That's a different topic, okay? Yeah, I think 64 is pretty good. That average is about 10 skeins a month. So if you think about it like that, I think that's actually really good. It's all about perspective, okay? And then we're not gonna talk about the 113 skeins I acquired this month, okay? We're not gonna talk about that. But if you are curious, we did have a net positive of 49 skeins in 6 months, okay? So we did make out with more yarn than we started with, but let's not focus on that, okay? Let's focus on the 64 skeins of yarn we used. Yeah! Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video was entertaining enough for you. Once again, thank you so much for bearing with me as I navigate these busy summer months this year. We will be back on track with some project videos pretty soon. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Once again, let me know your thoughts. Let me know if I used way more or way less yarn than you thought I was going to. If you want, you can follow me on my other socials. It's at Viney_Maple, which is the same way it's spelled here. I will see you over there, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!